Welcome back to me, lads and lassies. See, you've come back for part 2 of The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. We are still in quarantine, me and Perry, but we've invited a Pele. Come here, Pele. Come to me, dog. Don't be afraid of my musty. Come to me, dog. Come here. Alright, he doesn't want to say hi. Where did we leave off? Oh yes, the Ancient Mariner had just killed the albatross for no apparent reason. So, now they are setting sail back upon the sea in the Pacific Ocean. Now, no, that's not what it is. The sun now rose upon the right, out of the sea came he, still hid in mist, and on the left went down into the sea. And the good south wind still blew behind, but no sweet bird did follow, nor any day for food or play came the mariners, hello, because of course the bird is dead. And I had done a hellish thing, and it would work woe, for all a bird I'd killed the bird that made the breeze to blow. Ah, wretch, they said, the bird to slay that made the breeze to blow. And then in the little gloss it says, the ancient mariner's shipmates cry out against the ancient mariner for killing the bird of good luck, you dastardly mariner. Nor dim nor red like God's own head, the glorious sun of Brist, which I don't know how it means this, but the gloss that Coleridge himself wrote says, but when the fog cleared off, they justify the same and thus make themselves accomplices in the crime. I don't know how this is the fog clearing off, nor dim nor red like God's head, the glorious sun of Brist. Perhaps a sun in the fog is dim and red? I do not know here. But all the shipmates say, then they all averred I killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. 'Twas right, they said, such bird to slay, that bring the fog and mist. Yes, Perry, now you're talking along when we talk about birds. Okay, so the ancient mariner's whole crew says, perhaps killing that darned bird was not a bad thing. Perhaps that what brought the fog, and that's why we became trapped in those glaciers. It was that danged bird. Alright, so the fog's off. Everything's gone back to happy. Nobody's mad at the mariner for killing the albatross for no apparent reason. The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first to ever burst into that silent sea. Of course, there's Pacific Islanders and many other people who've seen this sea. But for Englishmen, they're claiming they were the first Englishmen to see this sea, the Pacific Ocean. And it's around the Cape of Good Horn. Yesterday, or the last time we read this together, I claimed it was the Cape of Good Hope. No, this pirate was wrong. It was the Cape of, Cape Horn. Alright, what does the gloss say here? The fair breeze continues, the ship enters the Pacific Ocean and sails northward, even till it reaches the line, which again is the equator, which again will be very important in the story. Oh, and then what happens? The gloss says, the ship has been suddenly becalmed, or there's no wind, and on a sailing ship, that means no movement. Oh, there's little Pele. What are you doing, little? Come here, little doggy. Still hiding, I guess. Alright, where are we? Down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down, 'twas sad as sad could be, and we did speak only to break the silence of the sea. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon, right above the mast did stand, no bigger than the moon. Alright, they're on the equator, they're stuck at sea, and there's that damn bloody sun. Day after day, we stuck, nor breath nor motion, as idled as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Now albatross begins to be avenged, says the gloss. With water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. This line, or this stanza, does my father proud. 'Twas the first riddle he gave us, me and my young sister. He said, how could this be possible? Water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. And my smart little 2-year-old self said, they must be stuck on the ocean, surrounded by water, and dying of thirst. The mariner continues, the very deep did rot, O Christ, that ever this should be. Yeah, slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. I don't know what type of animals these are. I've sailed many seas in my life, but never seen a little slimy animal crawling upon the sea surface. Maybe little water bugs. But I would be interested to see this type of animal. Or perhaps it's crawling on the bottom of the ocean, and the water is very clear. Regardless, the text is not very clear here, but it seems like there are little, he calls them slimy things. Slimy things, still interesting to a seafaring man like myself. This mariner does not seem to like him. More description of what happens. About in reel and rout, the death fires danced at night, the water like a witch's oils burned green and blue and white. What's interesting here is the way this seafaring mariner describes the natural world around him. He calls the creatures of the sea slimy things with legs, and he calls the sea itself a slimy thing. This is no hippie person who appreciates nature. This is someone who seems to be averse to nature, for he shot the albatross. He's setting sail with this group of people to do God knows what they're going to do in the world. But at the time that England is colonizing and conquering everything, they're probably not friends with nature. And now he describes the sea as something slimy, and its inhabitants slimy things with slimy legs. He also describes that death fires danced at night. There is a footnote here that says this is St. Elmo's fire. Now, I do not have a picture of this, but it is a weather phenomenon, which things that jut out into the atmosphere, when the atmosphere is charged right, they light up with some glowing, it's called plasma when I looked it up on ye old Wikipedia. For you people who live in New Jersey, if you're interested in this, you can look up the legend of the Hooker Man. In New Jersey, it's said that a ghost conductor of some sort haunts the railroads of New Jersey. The New Jersey Transit even put out a warning that said, please do not stop for people with lanterns on tracks at night. I read all of this in a manuscript called Weird New Jersey. But it turns out that some of the rock formations, when trains are going over them, they cause St. Elmo's fire to erupt up from the train tracks. And many times conductors were stopping their train because it looked like somebody, this ghost called the Hooker Man, with a lantern in front of it. Regardless, this seems like something that would be interesting to see. But the ancient mariner calls it a death fire. And the second part of that stanza, he goes on to describe the water at night, like witches' oils burnt green and blue and white. What we seafarers call bioluminescence. I once lived on the French island of Martinique, and me and all my neighbors would go snorkeling once a month at night. We would wait for the sea to be calm, and when you put on your mask, it's very unsettling, especially if you're afraid of sea monsters like I am. But in a big group of people, it's not as bad. And when you put on your mask and you swim around a little bit, little things start popping out from the bottom of the sea you're swimming around. You have many creatures that glow in the water at night. It's very interesting. And the way that it's described by the ancient mariner here, he calls it burning like witches' oils. I would say something more magical than that. That's why we kept going back. And now, if you would like to pause this video, in the description you will find a link to surfers surfing through plankton. The plankton lights up at night. 2 descriptions for why this happens. 1, God likes to make lights at night. 2, the plankton use this as a defense mechanism, so when something's eating them at night, they light up to say, hey, bigger fish, come eat this fish that's eating me. So if you watch the video now, if you pause the video now, and watch the surfers surfing through the plankton, it looks like they're carving pathways of light through the water. Very, very interesting. So I'll pause that and let you watch this now. Ah, great video, wasn't it? Great video. It's almost magical. Whereas here, the mariner says these are witches' oils, death fires. Not a fan of nature. Not a fan of nature at all. And we can add this to his killing of the albatross and the whole adventure with these men on the sea that are probably out to do something bad. Alright, so back to our story. The mariner and his crew were stuck out on the sea. And then the mariner's crew talks of dreams in line 131. And some in dreams assured were of the spirit that plagued us so. 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow. Alright, so the crew is being visited in dreams by some sort of nature spirit or ghost who has followed the ship after they killed the albatross and is now punishing them. According to the gloss, Coleridge says a spirit had followed them, one of the invisible inhabitants of this planet, neither departed souls nor angels, concerning whom the learned Jew Josephus and the Platonic Constantinopolitan Michael Celsus may be consulted. Never heard of them, never will again. They're very numerous, these spirits or invisible inhabitants of this planet. And there's no climate or element without each of them. Alright, this I'll put in your study guide as a tutelary spirit. It is a nature spirit that resides over a certain place. It could be over a river, over a meadow. If you are familiar with the story of Beowulf, Grendel appears to be one of these nature spirits that haunts over the dark, scary places. This one, we don't know if it's evil or if it's good, but it seems a little pissed off that the albatross was killed, and now he's punishing the crew of this ship. And with the punishment, we'll pick back up on the next stanza, line 135. And every tongue through utter drought was withered at the root. We could not speak no more than if we had been choked with soot. Ah, well a day, what evil looks had I from old and young. Instead of the cross, the albatross about my neck was hung. According to the gloss, the shipmates in their sore distress would fain throw the whole guilt on the ancient mariner, in sign whereof they hung the dead seabird round his neck as punishment. And that brings part 2 to a close. I will see you with part 3 later, mateys. Sharp sword. You want to say hello, Clay? I cut hello. Yeah, little puppy.